You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. Question for you, which might be a bit of a direct question, but hear me out. Did the counselling work for you?
Yes and no. So it was a group counselling. And actually, yes, in the sense that it validated some of the feelings. Because where I thought I was going crazy, I was losing my mind. And I was scared to tell people my memory wasn't as good as it needed to be. Because I'm thinking this could be early Alzheimer's disease. I couldn't even go to the GP about it. Going through, I think, the first session, I recognized that most of what I was feeling was completely normal as part of the grieving process. So I think that gave me a sense of peace. Because there's nothing worse than feeling as if something bad, clinically bad, is happening to you. So to have that sense of peace gave me, I think, the strength to go for the second session. Because when we started, I'm thinking, I'm not talking. I didn't even want to be here. But by the end of it, I was actually looking forward to the second session. And I think it lasted for about 6 weeks. But I concluded with the 6 weeks thinking, actually, what I need is having that one-on-one. Because in as much as it's great to be in a group session and people can share their stories and you can relate and connect, I didn't really get to share how I was feeling because time was also of the essence. So there wasn't the time to go into everything that was going on in my mind. But it was great to have that six sessions to start off with. I still haven't had that one-on-one, but I think I'm in a better place, to be honest. Yeah.
The reason I asked, and I love, Jen, how honest you are, because when I was going through it, I remember there was like an 8-week waiting list for any sort of counselling or therapy of any sort. And I remember I got so impatient. I ended up, like, one of my family members is a trained coach. So we kind of did a few unofficial sessions. So by the time I got to the counselling and the therapy, I was kind of like, I remember just being there going, oh. And I've heard so many horror stories of so many people not getting value from things like this. But I think it depends on how open and how ready you are. Some of us are at different stages, right? And I think also it depends on how much you've experienced in your life already. And I don't mean this to sound harsh, but I think if it's the first time you've ever had a struggle in life, it can be like the hardest thing in the world. Whereas I don't mind you, if you don't mind me saying, you've already experienced so much in your life before this point, you know, I mean, coming over from Ghana to here and all of that, you know, you describe what that I know of you, I think there was probably ways in which you've built up resilience, which maybe we hadn't even realized.
You know what? It's absolutely the case. I think what's good about me is also what's bad about me. So my way of dealing with anything is to just get on with it. So most of the time, maybe I'm halfway through whatever it is I'm getting on with, then I'm thinking, it's okay sometimes to say no. It's okay to say I'm not feeling the best. So I think for me, I don't like the word trauma. Well, I've come a long way now. But in the past, the word trauma is like, no, don't feed that emotion. Find a way and sidestep around that emotion, because the more you dwell on something, the worse it becomes. But I think that's not a healthy attitude. I think sometimes you got to recognize what you're feeling, allow yourself to go through it and heal. But if you sidestep it, sometimes what you're doing is not dealing with that. And I think I've spent majority of my life maybe getting on, or so I thought, just get on with it. You know, don't wallow, just get on with it. And what I had done is not deal with things throughout my life that should have been dealt with. And they were actually, you know, pretty traumatic experience. And I actually didn't even speak about them, because again, it's like, don't give it time, don't feed it, just leave it alone. It happened in the past, pick up your basket or pick up whatever you need to pick up and just move on. And just embrace the life that's ahead of you rather than what's behind you. But I think sometimes you need to go back and you need to learn from what's happened in the past in order to be better when you're going forward.